Okay. Shabbat Shalom. It is lovely to see everybody. It is always wonderful to be here. It's a special treat and to share the bima with my dear, dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Caruso.
It's so nice to be together again.
It's always nice.
I know how good it is.
It feels like, I don't know, getting on a bicycle and riding again or something. I don't know.
Exactly. It's so easy.
It just always feels lovely. I would point out that this week's Torah portion uplifts many themes as Moses continues his retelling of his experience with the Israelite people during the 40 years of their wilderness sojourn. In one of his more dramatic moments, he reviews the horror of the Israelites' apostasy with the sin of the golden calf and his breaking of the tablets he has just brought down from Mount Sinai. From the construction of Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 2, our sages inferred that both the new tablets that Moses carved when he returned to the top of Mount Sinai and the broken shards of the first set were carried together in the ark through the wilderness. Thus, God cradled the broken tablets side by side with the whole ones in the holiest place in our tradition. The symbol of the broken tablets serves as a poignant reminder of our sacred responsibility to be ever sensitive to those who suffer and to reach out and be understanding and embracing of those who live with broken tablets in their hearts. What I'm going to read now is by Roger Kamenetz. The broken tablets were also carried in the ark, insofar as they represented everything shattered, everything lost. They were the law of broken things, the leaf torn from the stem in a storm, a cheek touched in fondness once, but now the name forgotten. How they must have rumbled, clattered on the way, even carried so carefully through the wasteland. How they must have rattled around until the pieces broke into pieces, the edges softened, crumbling, dust collected at the bottom of the ark. Ghosts of old letters, old laws. Insofar as a law broken is still remembered, these laws were obeyed. And insofar as memory preserves the pattern of broken things, these bits of stone were preserved through many journeys and ruined days, even, they say, into the promised land. We are inspired by the image of Moses, picking up each precious piece of the tablets, collecting every shard, and lovingly placing every piece in the holy ark, conveying a message that guides the Jewish heart for all time. Dodi li, va'ani lo. In our brokenness and our wholeness, we are beloved of each other. Page 11. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh bashoshanim. Dodi li mizot ola min hamidbar, mizot ola min hamidbar. Nikuteret Moulivona, Moulivona, Dodili, Dodili, Vanilo, Aroe, Bashoshanim, Dodili. Page 12. Lechuneranena, yailai, ladonai, yailai, naria, yailai, letzur yishenu, let us sing unto God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of God's creation, from mountains to sea, hear our song. Lechuniranena,
We're going to continue with the candle lighting on page 2, and we open with Let Us Light These Lights. You can find it in the inside of your handout.
Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat.
Continue now with Yismachu Hashamayim, page 13.
Yismachu Hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismachu Hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismachu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismachu Hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismachu Hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismachu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiramayam, 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 Umelo. Yiramayam, Yiramayam, ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ.
Right, we turn to Lecha Dodi. This is, if we didn't really publicize it as such, Cantor, but this is Shabbat Unplugged at Fairmount Temple. Shabbat Unplugged. I mean, we do have microphones. Shabbat Unplugged, so it's like, no musical accompaniment, but we don't need it.
Oh, right.
It's like we're our own jukebox. We could do this just fine. And we continue now. And we're so glad to have so many of you here in the sanctuary and so many of you sharing this Shabbat with us on streaming. We continue on page 20, Lecha Dodi.
And you just need to understand that it's very hard for us to hear each other
Yes.
on the pulpit.
It's true.
It's just the sound issues are complicated.
Right. It's not a
So-
deficiency in us, it's just on the bima. Sometimes the sound bounces off of each other.
We hear that there's sound, but we can't necessarily. Anyway. Lecha Dodi.
We digress.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת בלי תהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונחה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי ברך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Invite you to rise, face the entrance as we welcome the Sabbath bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה,
Pene Shabbat Nekavela. We continue on page 28 with our call to worship, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed.
Continue on the top of page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Just a word about the melody for Shema this evening. It was written by a man by the name of Tzvika Peak. He passed away this week. He was a composer, a performer, a musician, in Israel particularly well known. And he, in honor of his memory, or in his memory, you will recognize this melody. It was actually composed by an individual. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
May be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem. top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together. Micha Mocha, page 40.
Micha mocha bailim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זיילי זיילי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, מי כמוך באים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוספלה, נורא תהילות אוספלה.
Okay, page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel for your name's sake. Be our help. Shield us and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Continue with Hashki Venu, page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu, shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We continue on page 44 and 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue with Vishamru.
Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. הנה ובני ישראל Shabbat
As we continue with our tefillah, I'm standing here with Cantor Sager. We are also thinking about Cantor Lappin and Rabbi Mulbaum, who are in Chautauqua this weekend, leading services there tonight, actually at the clock tower, the bell tower, right on the shores of the lake, which I've led those services before. It's absolutely lovely. We have many congregants who are actually there this weekend. We'll be able to connect with Cantor Lappin and Rabbi Mulbaum. And so we have a lot of Fairmount Temple services going on at the same time. So we're glad that they're there and we are here. And we continue with the tefillah on page 46. Please rise as you are able.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatacha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatacha. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatacha. Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatacha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah, Rav leHoshia. Mechakel Chaim bechesed, Mechayei HaKol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Mi hamocha al gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, yahlelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
may be seated. We pause for a few moments of quiet reflection.
O se shalom, bimromav, uyasa, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Ose shalom, bimromav, uyasa, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
We continue now with our prayer for healing. You can find it on page 253 in your prayer books. We think about those in our community who are in need of healing, healing of the body and healing of the spirit. We share names of those in our community who we're thinking of at this time. Dan Allen, Ro Allen, Claire Mengele Linder, Kristen Barnes, Maddie Bukatz, Rosalind Brooker, Ellen Brooks, Joe Callahan, Amy Cohen, Josh Danielpour, Linda Felder, George Fendel, Eric Fisher, Nina Fisher, Mary Freeman, Kara Greenwald, David Goldfein, Rafi Hami, Stephen Heller, Lev Heschel ben Batamivi Yaakov, Robert Jackson, Rebecca Jacobson, Monica Jones, Ethan Kadish, Linda Kahn, Sheldon Caffin, Patricia Kipstool, Ivan Kramer, Marla Lakin, Charlie Lewis, Suzanne Luria, Dennis Malkin, Margaret Marshall, Jennifer Russell McGee, Scott Miller, Barbara Misney, Mian Newman, our Rabbi Robert A. Nosenchuk, Estelle Finnick, Carol Flank, Paula Platt, Jewel Price, Gail Ray, Bernice Reef, Cooper Saul Roberts, Joseph Rocchio, Frank Rubin, Gordon Safran, David Schlein, Stephen Schlein, Bob Schwartz, Sharon Schwartz, Greg Selker, Mona Senkfor, Steve Shacknow, Dr. James Silverblatt, Pat Singer, Linda Snyderman, Estelle Slutsky, Alexia Stern, Michaela Stern, Liviana Bree-Solzer, Harold Tickton, Darrell Tyndall, Brenda Tinker, Misha Zeitlin, Jill Vance, Isaac Vance, Marilyn Violas, Angel Wisner, Terry Williams, Richard Wilson, Isabel Wolf, Aliza bat Yitzchak Chaim HaKohen Vazelda Jenny, Kayla bat Pesach Miriam, Mordechai ben Henya, Sarah Esther, bat Avraham Vesara. So many names, and we also know that you might be thinking about those in your community, your loved ones who are in need of healing. As I move my hand through the congregation, I invite you to share a name if you wish, out publicly if you wish in this safe space, or if you just like to share that internally, you can do that as well. We also think about those who are suffering from anxiety, depression, addiction. We hold everyone close. If you yourself tonight are in need of healing, we hold you in a collective embrace for Tfilat Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor Bracha Limoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Mekor Bracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Prayers of healing to blessings, of celebration of anniversaries, milestone birthdays and anniversaries. We want to acknowledge anniversaries for Marlene and Don Roscoff, who are surely watching on Streamcast today. We also want to wish, I think it's your 63rd wedding anniversary, Marlene and Don, so mazel tov to you. And Marlene, it is a milestone birthday for you as well. Lou Kelsch, you can stand at your seat if you wish. Happy birthday to you. I won't ask you any ages, but I'm so glad that you're celebrating with us tonight. And I also want to just acknowledge, totally, this person will not expect me to say this, but welcome back Hugh Berkson from a big bike ride I think you did with your son. I think it was called the Ragbrai? I don't know what the Hebrew is for that. Oi! A very long bike challenge that I think went across some of the Midwest, and I want to hear more about it at some point. Maybe you should just come up and talk to everybody about it, but maybe some other time. Hugh, we're really proud of you for doing this. I know you're a biker, but this was an additional challenge. It must have been very special sharing that experience with your son. So, mazel tov to you. It is a milestone. I recognize it as such. Yeah.
Rabbi Crusoe, it strikes me that you're going to be taking your third child to college soon.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I think that's a milestone too, isn't it?
It is. It's a very bittersweet moment. On Tuesday, we're taking our youngest to D.C. to get her situated into her dorm, and this is a moment. It's a moment. We've done it twice with our older two, but this feels like a different kind of moment. Lots of people call what Leah and I will be, which is empty nesters, but
I think
Leah
it puts
likes
you officially in that category.
I know. Leah likes to coin it free birds. We're free birds. So I like that, and we're going to give it a go. We're going to see what life looks like without any children in the house. So you're right, that is a milestone. So thank you. Any other milestones in your life?
Oh, and mine?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to see my children soon. That's always a milestone.
That's always the best, especially when they don't live with you anymore. It becomes more precious, for sure, to see them. Fantastic. Any other milestones? Oh, Bonnie. Took Carmen to college. Geez, yeah, another milestone for sure. Well, holding you close, I know it is, again, that bittersweet moment, Bonnie, but we hope it brings up a new chapter of joy and celebration for you as well. All right, let us do the bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Shehechianu v'kiyamanu
v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe. You give us life, you lift us up, you bring us to these extraordinary moments, and we say together, Amen. Mazel tov.
Amen.
Right. Exit stage right. Just so give you a heads up, I don't know if you shared it earlier, Cantor Sager is going to be leaving a little early today because she has another Shabbat engagement at Wiggins Place, so we're glad to have you for the time you're here.
I'm going to see more congregants at Wiggins. I am on my way to Wiggins for a Shabbat service there.
Beautiful.
It strikes me, Rabbi Caruso, that we're sort of fanning out all over the place.
I know,
Chautauqua,
Fairmount Temple,
Wiggins,
everywhere.
You know.
Everywhere you want to be.
Good
Fantastic.
Shabbos, everybody. I'm only sorry I can't greet you in person afterwards.
Great to be with you, Sarah.
Thank you. And I feel the same.
Shabbat Shalom. It is family lore that when my grandfather, Luigi Caruso, decided to immigrate to the United States at the age of 16, the final goodbye was quite dramatic. The story goes that Luigi carried everything he had to the train station in Amantea that would take him to Naples, and from there he would board a ship bound for Philadelphia. The emotion of the day was so strong that Luigi's mother, my great-grandmother, Carmela, was standing with Luigi at the train station and would not let go of his coat. I carry this story with me because every time I recall it, I feel like I am honoring his journey. I feel both the emotional loss of his family who remained in southern Italy. Without him, he never saw them again. And the exhilaration that my grandfather must have felt as he was heading to the promised land of America. I hope that my life, very different than the one he lived, in some way honors his memory. The biblical Moses has another kind of farewell story. In it, God reveals that he will not be allowed to enter into the promised land, a different promised land. Just as I imagine what my great-grandmother must have felt seeing the promise of her son leave for a new world, Moses must have also wondered what the future of his people would look like. It unfolds in the book of Deuteronomy, and it was a very long goodbye. In a series of farewell dispatches, Moses addresses the new generation of Israelites heading towards the promised land and drops this news to them on behalf of God. Listen closely to this. It's an interesting address. Moses says, "But it was your ancestors who God fell in love with. He picked their children, that's you, out of all other peoples. That's where we are right now," Moses said. "So cut away the thick calluses from your heart and stop being so willfully hard-headed." In essence, Moses reveals to the Israelites that God was smitten with their forebears, but as for them, well, they would still have something to prove. The message is a reminder of the incredible privilege and responsibility that comes with a line of ancestry. There is a concept in Judaism called zechut avot. It conveys the idea that the merit of our ancestors redounds to us. Zechut Avot. It applies to Jews through blood lineage and to those who have taken the path as Jews by choice. Judaism views our history, faith, and traditions as an inheritance, and we are the recipients of that treasure. It is precisely for this reason that we begin the tefillah that we just recited earlier by acknowledging our ancestors. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. In this most important prayer, we appeal to God with the following sentiment. You may not know me, God, but I belong to the patriarchs and the matriarchs of old. I'm affiliated with them. And yet, still in this week's Torah portion, Moses cautions the Israelites that in their eagerness to show pride of affiliation with those who came before them, they must guard against any presumption of entitlement. It's an interesting balance, right? Inheriting this zechut, this merit, and yet not becoming too comfortable in receiving it. In the Talmud, there's discussion of zechut avot, the merit we reap from our ancestors. They talk about that zechut avot actually has a statute of limitation. That is, for how long do we get to enjoy the benefits of hitching our wagons to the likes of Rachel and Sarah, Moses and Miriam, Rambam and Rashi? For how long do we get to associate? The rabbis in the Talmud actually debate this point, providing examples of when those meritorious benefits might actually expire. The sages are surely cautioning us as if to say, it's good to feel a sense of pride of where you come from, but not so much that you simply wish to ride the coattails of your predecessors. There's another teaching here. We must each earn our way to be deserving of that inheritance. The merit that redounds to us is contingent on doing the work of holding up those traditions and those values. So let us return to that 16-year-old boy, Luigi Caruso, who left home for a better life and without whom I would not exist. I have always seen my grandfather's arrival to these shores as the paradigmatic American immigration tale. His story, 16-year-old kid makes good, arrives in Philadelphia, lands in Little Italy, New York, builds a life, has a child who has a child who becomes a rabbi? It's an amazing story. It's an American story. His story, Luigi's story, dovetailed beautifully with the American Jewish account of immigration and the arrival of our people to what they called the Golden Medina, the Golden Land. Surely Jews were not wholly accepted into American society when the first organized group arrived as early as the late 1600s. Yes, Jews have been on this soil longer than the United States of America has been established. And even though there has been anti-Semitism, resistance, this nation has largely been a place where we Jews have thrived. I would submit that as American Jews, it is the zechut avot, the merit of our American ancestors, that falls down to us. and charges us to remember the stories of our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and so forth. Charges us to remember, to do well by the stranger, because they were once the stranger themselves. Friends, if you are a follower of the news, you know that support in this country for immigrants has fallen. Sadly, the false accusations that the majority of new immigrants are vagrants, drug dealers, bent on destroying this nation, are widely believed. If this sentiment persists, the statute of limitations to merit the good deeds of our ancestors, to honor their memory, will surely expire. Today, the patriotism and national pride that shaped my grandfather's identity has been appropriated by the calloused and by the hard-headed. It drives me to ask, who will properly honor the memory of the very individuals who helped build this country? In the name of Zechut Avot, those deserved of the merit of our ancestors, we must never let go of the stories of our ancestors' journeys. They will inform the way we treat the stranger in our day. If we do so, it will surely be to our merit. Amen. We continue now with Aleinu L'Shabeach, bottom of page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You may be seated. We turn now to page 291. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We now take this time, we remember those who have died in the last 30 days in the period of Shiva, the period of Shloshim. We remember Rabbi Fred A. Eisenberg, former rabbi of Anshe Chesed Fairmount Temple, beloved rabbi, leader of the Young People's Congregation, and a mensch. Abraham Arthur Moss, Rita Heller, Betty Penzner, Mark Kester, Stanley Wernick, and Michael McGarity, who will be buried this coming week. We remember those who died at this season in years past in a period of yahrzeit. We remember Reverend Meyer Applebaum, William Bill Behrens, Sarah Berger, Anna Rose Burke, Norbert Burles, Jacob Bernstein, Eleanor W. Bilski, Jacob Bishko, Paul Myers C. Bonnard, Faye Bruckner, Irene Cronenberg Clark, Albert R. Court, Marvin H. Kramer, J. Lawrence Larry Davis, Michael Philip Dayron, Susan Epstein Ben Folkman, Anna Freiberg, Dorothy Franklin, Bernie Gordon, Hermine S. Goulder, Evelyn Harriman, James L. E. Jappy, Pearl Cabb, Benjamin Katz, Rose Combe, David Colt, Barry Laidman, Stuart I. Mendelson, William J. Merritt, George T. Miller, Joseph A. Moritz, Abraham Nemiroff, Roselle Winston Orling, Max L. Pinchuk, Henry Polster, Joseph Sanchuk, Adele Schnur, Margaret Reisman, Frida Schnabel, Charles Schifrin, Eva Sill, Alan I. Sugarman, Jack Lionel Switzer, Isidore Weinberg, Charles Weisskopf, Harvey Weissman, Esther B. Weiss, Sam Weiss. To this list, we add the names of the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, those who died in the Holocaust, and we say Kaddish for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. At this time, we invite those mourners who are remembering a loved one who died in the period of Shiva, Shloshim, in the past year, or in the period of Yartzeit, to rise at your seats so we can know you in your grief. And if it is your tradition, we invite you to join our mourners, rise with them for the recitation of the Kaddish praise, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechom uvyomechom uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Yehei shalama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and we say together, Amen. You may be seated. We now turn to the conclusion of our service. We'd like to welcome everybody here tonight and who is joining us on Streamcast, who is joining us on Facebook, who is joining us on YouTube. There were a group of folks who joined us on Zoom a little bit earlier before services for a little Shabbat Shalom moment. Welcome all. It's great to pray together in all our disparate places and spaces. We'd like to remind you that we have a new Machzor, a new High Holy Day prayer book that we're going to start using this coming High Holy Days. If you have not picked up your prayer book at this point, you can actually pick it up tonight if you are here in the sanctuary. And right after services, Barbara Smith will be able to get you yours and sign you up for that. If you are not here and you'd like to come in at some point, please call the office during the week. You can come in at any time, and we'll make sure you receive your prayer books. Speaking of the Machzor prayer book, we want to share this coming Sunday. I will be teaching from some of the passages of this new prayer book this coming Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Hopefully you can join us. If you need the Zoom link, email me or Stacy Cohen at scohen@fairmounttemple.org. We'll get it to you if you'd like to join us. We've had a healthy turnout the first 2 sessions that were led by Cantor Lappin and Rabbi Mobaum. Finally, I'd like to share that the 2023 Campaign for Jewish Needs through Jewish Community Federation kickoff is Sunday, August 28th, and you are invited to join in that kickoff. To register, to find out more information, you can contact jewishcleveland.org. All right. We have our blessings for Kiddush and Motzi. They're down there. I'm over here. So I'm going to go down there for a minute. It was a couple of weeks ago, excuse me, I'm chewing. It was a couple of weeks ago where this might feel like a deja vu moment for you, where I was left alone to my own devices, which is very scary, without an accompanist, without a cantor, and you're left with me to sing the final song. So I chose a different one this time just to mix it up a little bit, but I'm going to invite you, even if you're at home, you're not here, to join me in a hearty singing of Shalom Aleichem. It's on page 323 in your prayer books, 323. And Shalom Aleichem, as you might already know, means peace be upon you. It is a traditional song sung by Jews every Friday night upon returning home from synagogue prayer. It signals the arrival of Shabbat, welcoming the angels who accompany a person home on the eve of the Sabbath. And it is a custom to sing during this time. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, akadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Seitchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shabbat shalom. Please join us for some Oneg Shabbat just outside of these sanctuary walls. If you're home, grab something sweet to eat in solidarity.